Tanya, before we let you get away, folks, can we go back to Tanya's photographer and actually take a look at her picture, get a ground-up vantage point of the firefighting efforts on this fire?
Okay, that's it from Tanya. You see the fire continuing to spread now. Okay, there's some of the people now watching the flames there. Kimberly Terry earlier talked to people that had been evacuated from that property there. The Monte Carlo Hotel and Casino, about 12 years old is all, and it's 3,000 rooms, a little over 3,000 rooms. The luxury suites, about 250, 260 of them are on that top floor right now. And you see that fire continuing to spread now to some of the lower floors.
And the relief here is finally we're beginning to see gray plumes of smoke, a sign that the firefighting efforts are succeeding, that they're getting this blaze under control. And we're just being told by our producer in our earpieces that traffic on the Las Vegas Strip is opening up again, and that is the best news possible. And I-15 to 215, those lanes are clear, beginning to move again. Folks, if you're home, stay home. If you need to get to work, you might want to take 215 on any way around, either on the far north end or the far south end of the valley to get to work, and then come back up from the east to get to any properties to get to work on the Las Vegas Strip, to make sure you keep the Las Vegas Boulevard between Russell and Flamingo open for firefighting efforts and rescue efforts that might be needed at this time.
Fire continuing to spread there towards you're seeing a little section there to the right, I believe is New York, New York. You're seeing part of that now. It's I don't think it's in any threat. The angle that you're seeing right there makes it look like it could catch that building on fire, but there's no threat of that happening. There is some space between those two. You can't catch it from that perspective, but it's continuing to spread towards that direction, or towards the south, if you will, and much of the middle section and part of the north section has been consumed at the top floors by this fire. Some of those luxury suites that they've got at the top of the Monte Carlo Hotel and Casino that we're seeing now more and more firefighting efforts taking care of that south side. And
we have a live interview now from the scene of the fire. We join it.
Hi there. Yeah, we're back live here at Dean Martin. I have Bill McCoy here with us, who's been watching this for about a half hour. We're going to step out of the way. Bill, thanks for joining us. And if you can describe what you saw at first and then what you've been seeing just lately.
It looks like the fire started somewhere about the tower and then just started spreading apart. And from when we got here, there we got fire crews that looked like they had started putting the fire toward the left side of the building near the Monte Carlo sign and got that one extinguished first. But the rights, it's been burning and burning and burning. It looks like they finally got it under control.
When I first saw this, like you said, it looked like it started right in the middle. Did it go to the left first, the right first, and how fast did it spread?
It was kind of a split between the two, but it looks like the right side of the building was where it just gained its best momentum and took off.
Now, we've been watching, as we were saying, the embers falling down, and it looks like on the right side of your screen there that there's another fire sort of developing in there. Is that the way it happened on the left side too?
It did. It looked like it had just run down a shaft or something and then caught fire toward the face of the building on the left-hand side, and then about 10-15 minutes later it started over here on this other side as well.
It's kind of hard to see from this vantage point. Did you see any firefighters actually up on the roof at that point?
From here it looked like you couldn't see individuals, but you could see the water, especially toward the Monte Carlo sign early on, and then as it started to extinguish there was a lot of smoke.
Well, Bill McCoy, thank you very much. Your description has been invaluable. Once again, guys, we are at around Dean Martin Drive. We're just west of the Luxor, about 3 blocks west of the Strip, and as you can see, the fire is pretty much extinguished. They've got some water. I think you can see it in your screen. They've got some water going in there into the lower floors that caught fire about 5-10 minutes ago. So that's it from here right now. We'll just stand by. Back to you.
Thank you, Casey. You're seeing the firefighters with those open windows. If we can go back to that shot we just had, and to those 2 open windows there on the right side, firefighters, brave firefighters, have gone inside this structure, risking their lives, and are now shooting water towards those flames that are, quite frankly, coming straight at them. And they are there shooting those flames down and actually trying and doing a good job at putting many of those flames out that are headed straight towards them.
The good news here in this case, of course, too, the Monte Carlo benefiting from the retrofitting, making it water available on every single floor of the casino. This is, of course, something we hoped we would never, ever see happen again, but one of those just-in-case scenarios. This is one of the properties completely retrofitted. You see these brave firefighters standing there. Again, as Ron said, these flames are just inches away from them as they are spraying water on these flames to stop them from continuing to spread on the roof. Now, the good news is, from what we've been able to see on this fire that started about an hour and a half, going on almost 2 hours now, is that fire crews, several fire stations, both city and county, within blocks, minutes of the Monte Carlo, were able to respond extremely quickly, evacuate the hotel casino, and begin firefighting efforts. I mean, you see this window sliding open as more firefighters, actually closer to the flames, burning above their heads, now beginning to become more involved in this firefighting effort and make sure they can save lives and save this property from this fire burning any further.
We've talked a lot about the firefighters, certainly the bravery that they exhibit when they run into burning buildings, and quite frankly, we got a lot of Southern Nevada firefighters who are doing exactly that today to put this fire out. Mike
Chalinas has been following the weather situation for us very closely. The good news in that case is today, thankfully, one of those days, very calm winds, only 3 to 4 miles an hour, and as if you've been seeing from all parts of the valley, for the most part, the smoke has been going straight up, blowing slightly toward the west, but clearly, if the wind had been a factor today, what was probably one of the fastest firefighting efforts of a high-rise you will ever see on live television right here on Channel 13 Action News. What has been a very quick effort probably would have taken much more effort and been extremely dangerous, much more dangerous, had the winds picked up any more than they were today.
We saw the embers coming down and lighting the ledge there that you see on fire. It doesn't look like it's gone inside that structure any further, either where we saw it a little bit further on the left side of your screen right there, and this area right here, it looks like they've kept the fire from going internally in the Monte Carlo as much as they can. And
from going down. We've been talking, briefly mentioning in passing, the MGM Grand fatalities back in November 21st, 1980. That was a fire that started on the bottom floor of the casino and spread up, which contributed to its deadly nature, more than 80 lives lost. In this case, the fire appeared to have started in the very middle of the top of the Monte Carlo. Now, of course, the Monte Carlo owned by the massive MGM Grand Corporation, which owns of the massive City Center project, which is being built nearby. New York, they basically own everything on the west end of the west side of the Las Vegas Strip. But as far as we know, there was no active construction going on at the Monte Carlo. The around the Las Vegas Strip shut down, so fire and rescue crews coming from that one small window there on the very far left and toward the right. As we pan our camera to the side, you can see fire crews still leaning out of those windows, shooting water on those flames, fighting this blaze.
The Monte Carlo is about 12 years old here on the Las Vegas Strip, and was built in, at the time, it was an effort built by, okay, we had some audio issues here a little while ago. Apparently we've got those audio issues fixed, but okay, we have Casey Smith live. Let's go to Casey. Casey, can you hear us? Okay, we're not hearing Casey.
Okay.
Go ahead,
A lot of smoke has been dissipating here, and a lot of smoke is dissipated here. No flames at all what we can see except the extreme upper right-hand corner there of your picture, and they're getting some flame on that, or excuse me, some water on that right now. But from what we can tell, it's pretty much been extinguished all across the top and in the middle there. A couple of flaps, as I was saying just a few minutes ago, and the black has kind of creeped over there, and it's kind of wiped out the entire Carlo of the Monte Carlo. We're assuming that's a little bit more of hot spots there, but I haven't seen any flames come up there at any point right now. We are getting one more, as you can see, kind of a strong stream of black smoke coming out. That's kind of, yeah, they're identifying the ember that you just saw fall down there right now. But for the most part, they seem to be getting a handle on it, and it looks at this point, and we're quite a ways away from it, but it looks like they are securing the area that burned dramatically and probably going around looking for hot spots right now. Reporting live, Casey Smith, Channel 13, Action News.
All right, thank you very much. Casey Smith reporting live there off Dean Martin Drive, a little bit away from the actual property itself. Now, we're doing some construction here at Channel 13 Action News, and we've been able to talk to a couple of the folks who are working for the construction company. What we're told is that the possibility, and of course we don't know the actual, we're not talking to the actual construction company that worked on the Monte Carlo, but what it appears is that what's burning at the top is not actual structure, but styrofoam, decorative material, and that may be why the flame spread so quickly.
Right, and that ledge right there, that area that easily caught on fire when stuff from the above fell onto that styrofoam exterior. I mean, it looks, when you look at it from below, certainly it looks like it's pretty well built, but it's a very hard construction styrofoam that caught on fire there and caused it to appear like it had spread to the lower floors.